Breaking news. Good filmmaker make good film. Who could have seen this coming? Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is a lot of things, a film full of spectacle and flair matched with top-of-the-line craftsmanship and narrative heft. It's epic in every sense of the word, a film that demands to be seen on the biggest screen possible. Those people who crossed entire state lines to watch it in 70mm, you were in the right all along. It's cliche to say it, but we don't get films like this anymore, and I feel like Nolan knows this. He also knows that he's among a select few filmmakers who can actually make something like this with the scale and budget it deserves. So when one does come out, take this opportunity to watch something made by your fellow man and not by a robot. The mighty Hairline has done it again. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I tend to ask myself a question after every Nolan movie. Where does he go from here? Where do you go after Interstellar? Back to basics with a Dunkirk film that's a masterclass in high-intensity war filmmaking. And fast forward to Oppenheimer, where Nolan won the Oscars that so many said were overdue from his previous work. It also grossed nearly $1 billion, which is wildly impressive for a 3-hour R-rated film almost completely based in dialogue. So it makes sense that Nolan followed up a film that won him Oscar glory by adapting one of the oldest surviving works of world literature. Homer's Odyssey is one of the oldest stories in human history, having survived through oral retelling and thousands of subsequent translations in the 3 millennia since. These translations vary greatly in intent, with some trying to capture the original essence of the original Greek, even if it means that the English prose you read is unintelligible for our modern brains. Likewise, there are others, like Emily Wilson's highly rated translation, that not only sets to tell the epic poem through modern prose, but retains the poetic tempo and rhythm that literal translations tend to put by the wayside. I mention Homer in the thousands of years of translations because that's exactly what makes the original poem so special. It captures the imagination and emotion of its audience, regardless of what day and age you read it. It deals with universal themes that we will always resonate with, and as such, it's only natural that these translators, and in this case, a filmmaker, will find their own in when it comes to retelling the story. Nolan is doing what all storytellers do when adapting a piece. They give their interpretation of things, no different than the 500 years of Shakespeare productions.
To be or not, it's a choice. And not...
Calm down, right? It's simple.
Or.
Don't lose focus. To be or not to be, that is the question.
No, idiots. To be or not to be, that is the question.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
The lead up to this movie for the Chronically Online was nauseating to the point where I wanted to adopt Nolan's lifestyle of not owning a smartphone and completely abstaining from social media. The movie's out, which is the most important thing at the end of the day. The final product. Jaws was supposed to kill Spielberg's career. Same with Star Wars and George Lucas, or Titanic with James Cameron. Hell, The Dark Knight was supposed to be a failure too because of Heath Ledger's casting as the Joker. The Odyssey is the first film in history to be completely filmed on the IMAX format, something that Nolan's been building towards since The Dark Knight in 2008. Not having the chance to capture the quiet, more intimate scenes because the IMAX camera being so loud. To fix this, IMAX designed a special blimp/box contraption to show the IMAX camera and suppress its loud motor, giving actors the ability to focus on more emotional scenes without hearing the equivalent of 10 baseline PlayStation 4s playing The Last of Us Part 2. I first watched the film in Cinemark XD, having also bought tickets for 70mm and 70mm IMAX in the weeks ahead, and I'm really excited for that. And right off the bat, I just gotta say this. Nolan's partnership with Hoyt van Hoytma, I believe, has eclipsed his work with Wally Pfister. I know these are fighting words, but the visuals they pull off here are next level, making full use of the IMAX format in ways that just boggle my mind. Nolan's insistence on capturing everything on camera as much as possible pays in dividends here throughout the dozens of different locations that this story visits, with each one containing its own look and feel and color palette. There are a couple of horror sequences here that make my mind go wild over the prospect of a Nolan horror film. We need it to happen all day. We need it to happen one day, and Ludwig Göransson's score, I mean, come on, you already know. How is it that one musical cue, and you know the one I'm talking about, can be one of the most effective and cathartic narrative tools in recent years? It's a Christopher Nolan movie at the end of the day, so you already know its technical merits. And having sat with the film for the last couple of days, I can say that the way Nolan tells this story, specifically the framing of Odysseus' actions and the sort of ramifications of the Trojan horse, blew me away. This is how you adapt a story the right way. A new writer coming in with their own lived experiences and views will take away new things from a 3,000-year-old text. It's not disrespectful to the author, or in this case, the poet. What would be disrespectful is a like-for-like remake of the work, coming up with no new thoughts or ideas or raising questions that were just begging to be asked. We're bound to get new takes on the same story, and we should champion that, so long as the essence of the original remains. And I quite like how Nolan revisits themes from his previous movies here, like the coming home aspect of Interstellar, the consequences of one's actions with films like Tenet and Oppenheimer, and even the theatricality of The Prestige. To adapt something like the Odyssey and to make it your own while still maintaining the essence of its story is really something to behold. And Nolan is no stranger to radically adapting a familiar property. Heath Ledger's Joker was a radical take on the character at the time. Now he's considered one of, if not the very best version of that character on film. And this movie is making a ton of money at the box office, grossing over $260 million over a single weekend, his highest debut since 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. Money doesn't grow on trees, but I guess it grows on YouTube dislikes. I don't know. At the end of the day, the most important thing is whether or not the movie is good. And yeah, The Odyssey is good. It's phenomenal. It's movies like this that remind us of why we go to the movies and why movies are made and why we go to the movie theater. Movies are a chaotic group project with hundreds, if not thousands of people coming together to achieve a singular vision. The end result, that kick-ass PowerPoint presentation with the slick slide transitions, should be greater than the sum of its parts. The Odyssey is a technical marvel and a narrative masterclass in adapting a thousands-year-old work in a modern but faithful way. Go see it in the biggest screen possible, even if it's the 2:30 a.m. 70mm IMAX screening. You'll be the coolest person in your group chat. But I have to say, Marvel releasing the Doomsday trailer so soon after this movie opened is a baffling choice. Good luck, but that's gonna be a no from me, dog.
This song is from the soundtrack of a movie called Tenet. Anybody see this shit? Did anybody see this besides me? Because I need a manual. Someone's got to explain this. Yeah, I'm not kidding. What the fuck was going on in that movie? Do you understand? Seriously, you need to be a neuroscientist to understand. And that's 2.5 hours of my life that I want back. I want it back.